Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel, Yud Al B'Tesvav. The Megillah is read on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. Lo Pochas v'lo Yosef, not before the 11th, not later than the 15th. Krochem and Mukofin Chomim, Yos Yeshua ben Nun, walled cities from Yeshua ben Nun's time. Korim B'Tesvav, we can see in the Gemara, it's Machlokes Tanoim, whether it's from the time of Achashverosh or it's from Yeshua ben Tana, and this is the way we rule. It's only from Yeshua ben Nun's time. Kforim v'Yoros Kedolos Korim Yudalid, villages and large cities, which are open cities. They read on the 14th, Elo Shakforim, Magdim Liyom Akniso, but they are able to advance it earlier to the day of entry. So Rashi explains that Ezra legislated that on Mondays and Thursdays, this is when the courts convene in this large cities, so the villages will come in for court day on Monday and Thursday. Ketzat, so they're coming in anyway. We'll see in a minute. Cholios Yudalid B'Sheni, so let's say the 14th falls out on Monday. So the villages and the large cities read on the 14th. On that day, and the walled cities read it on Tuesday. What happens if the 14th falls out on the 3rd or the 4th, meaning Tuesday or Wednesday? They advance back to Monday. The Yoris Kedolos Korbo B'Yom on the 4th will cover Schoma Lemocha Cholios B'Chamishi. Again, it comes out on the Thursday, which is Yom Knisa. Kfarim Yoris Kedolos Korim Bo B'Yom. Again, they read that's the 14th. Umakover Schoma Lemocha, and the walled cities on Friday. Chalios Erev Shabbos. So what happens if it falls out on Friday? Kfarim Magdim Liyom Knisa. So again, the villages go back to Thursday. Liyom Knisa Yoris Kedolos Umakover Schoma Korim Bo B'Yom. They both read, because one reason doesn't read the Megillah on Shabbos, so they go back to the. Why? Because that's factually, that's when the majority of Klaus will read it on Thursday. Not Thursday, Friday. Bo B'Yom. Ioris Kedosim Korim Bo B'Yom Friday. Chalios, skip the wall, okay? Chalios b'Shabbos. What happens if 14th falls out on Friday? On Shabbos, from Yoris Gedolos Magdim Korim B'Yom Aknisa. They go back to Thursday. Kovas Choma Lemocha. They read it on Sunday. Cholios Achar Shabbos. What happens if it comes out on Sunday? The 14th is on Sunday. Kfar Magdim B'Yom Aknisa. They go back to Thursday, the previous Thursday, which is the 11th. Yoris Gedolos Korim Bo B'Yom. They read it on Sunday. Kovas Choma Lemocha on the second day. So there's important Rashi here in the Mishnah when he speaks about the villages come into town on the Yom HaKnisa. So take a look in Rashi. He says over here, Yom Knisa. Let's see Rashi. Elish Magdim Korim Yom HaKnisa. The last wide line. Kloma mi'achshem ukofin korim tesvav, shem ukofin korim yudalid. Hooray, Hakol Bechlal, so Hechim Mishkach. So if that's the case, you have the 14th and 15th. How did we work out the 11th, 12th, and 13th? Shakvorim Nosulem Chachom Rishus Lahagdim Kriyos Liyom Akniso Yom Sheni B'Shabbos Shefnei Yudal. The Monday preceding the 14th. O Chamishi B'Shabbos Shiyom Kniso Shakvorim Nichskansin Lioros LeMishpot V'Shaboti Dina Yoshim B'Yoros. The courts they convene in the large cities. B'Shinim Chamish Ketakonos Ezra. Now this is important. The villages, they're not literate. They're not sufficiently literate, likros, to read it on their own. So they need one of the people in the large city read it on their behalf. And they didn't burden them. They should have to delay. To come back on the 14th. Okay, so there's a question which is asked. We have a principle that the only one who could be motzi someone else is only if you're obligated. The large cities cannot read it on the earlier days. He says they come into the large cities, so they should read on their behalf, but the person of the large city is not obligated. Right? This is on the 11th, 12th, and 13th. So how could he be motzi him? If you're not obligated, you can't be motzi a person who is obligated. Yeah? Turi Evan asked this question. Chagasari. The advances. Let's start the Gemara. No, because you're obligated. You're a person you're obligated. Even now you're obligated. Today you're obligated. This is like before Purim. Right? The 11th, 12th, and 13th has no relevance to the person who lives in a large city. It's like Hanukkah. He asked me to be motzi on Hanukkah. How could he be motzi on Hanukkah? No, he's not. He's not a ben kfar. You have to be a ben kfar. You have to be a villager. You're not a villager. Okay, let's see the Gemara. Migil Nikras Biyur Aleph. So says Nolan. How do we know the Migil is read on the 11th? So says Nolan. Tibina Lemeimar Lekamon. The reason is, as it says later in the Brisa, Chachome Kilu Al Kforim. The Choma lean regarding the villages. Lios Magdim Liom Akniso. Why? What was coupled with this leniency? Like this, because they already were Yotzi when they came in on Monday and Thursday, so therefore they were able to provide drink and food for the people living in the large cities. They bring them from the villages into the city. So, right? So therefore, that's the reason why you have the earlier days. And the Hochi Kamiran. All the days were legislated by Anshkenes Gedola. If you say that when they designated when Purim is, they said it's only initially the 14th and 15th. And when they altered it, and they said not only the 14th, 15th, even the 11th, 12th, and 13th. Vantanan, we learned in the Mishnah in Bezin Yochel about the Dibri Bezin Chavero. One court cannot rescind or alter someone else's takana unless they're greater in Chochmeh Minyan, which is not the case. All these days were legislated by Anshkenes Gedola. So where is it alluded to in the Megillah? So that's been the text. Anshkenes Gedola, ones who were involved in saying that this is what we read on Purim. So where is it alluded to in the text? Rav Sham bar Abba, Rav Yochanan. Rav Sham bar Abba says in Rav Yochanan Makro. It says in the Megillah, L'kayim Yivei Purim Eilo Bizmanehem. Now, this pasuk over here is my name speaking regarding the celebration of Purim, not the reading of the Megillah. You hear this? Very important. This is Asiyo. This is the celebration. We'll see. The Gemara will ask it. It says, to fulfill the days of Purim, these days, in their times. Harbi, Zmanim Harbi Tiknulam. Meaning, Zmanehem comes down. There are multiple times where you can read it. Someone says, Haimi Boyle, Lugufek. You need it for the actual itself. You should read it in its time. In Keilem across Zman, it could have said, in its time. Maizma, what's the plural? Zmanehem. Zmanim Tuva. There are multiple times you can be Yotzei. Vakatim Boyle, Zmanu Shozelo, Kishmanu Zozeh. A book of Chomer cannot read it on the 14th. And a prosi, a law, open city, can I read it on the 15th? So Zmanu Shozeh. In Keilem across Zmanom. Zmanom indicates their personal time. Maizmanehem, which indicates multiple times. Shamid Mino Kulu. So it tells me even the 11th to 12th. Tomorrow says, oh, Ema Zmanim Tuva. Ema Zmanim Tuva maybe means even more than that. More than the 11th, 12th, and 13th. He says, Zmanehem Dumir Zmanom. The Zmanehem comes to say it's similar to what's explicit. What's explicit in the Megillah? The 14th and 15th. So there's another 2 days. Mazmanom Trey, just as the time which is explicit in the Megillah is 2 days. It's the 14th and 15th. Avzmanehem Trey, so the days, the additional days are also 2. Somebody has a question, but we have an additional 3, right? We have 11, 12, 13. Verses. If that's the case, Ema Tresa Tlesar. Let it be, if it's 2, let it be the 12th and 13th, and not the 11th. So how do we know even the 11th? Kedi Omer Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchok. Yud Gibel Zman Kila Koli. 13th was the day when they gathered to what? To go to war, to destroy the enemy. And because that was the time the nest took place, that day I don't even need to lose. That's understood. You can read the Megillah. So therefore, the 2 days which are added are the days of 11 and 12. Lo tzorech l'rubuye, hochanam yud gimel zman ki lakoli. It's the time when they gathered. Lo tzorech l'rubuye. Now over here Rashi says, take a look at Rashi on top, left-hand column. Zman ki lakoli, hakol nikalu lihinoke me'ovem. They gathered to avenge their enemies. The main miracle when we destroyed the majority of our enemies took place on the 13th. Therefore, I don't even need an illusion that you could read the Megillah on the 13th. It's understood. Somebody has a question. Maybe the 2 days, maybe it should be 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th. Why is it the 2 preceding? Maybe it should be the 2 days following. Maybe it should be the 16th and 17th. On that, the Gemara says, Lo Yarvuk, if it says you should not go beyond the 15th. So the 2 days that I add is the day of 11 and 12. And how do I know 13? Zman Kila Koli. So here there's a famous Rosh. You know, there's no, all the Tanaisim we have, all the fasts, it's in the Pasuk. Soma Revi, Soma Asiri, the different fasts we have, that we fast throughout the year, rabbinic fasts. Where is it alluded to? Tainus Esther. There's no mention at all about Tainus Esther. So how do we know Tainus Esther? So the Rosh says that's includes Zman Kila Koli. Just as you find when Moshe Rabbeinu we went to war against Amalek. It says Moshe Rabbeinu prayed, and it's understood whenever you pray, it's always accompanied with tshuva, with fasting. Identically, Zman Kila Koli, since it was the day we went to battle, there's no question we fasted on that day. So that is the makor, that is the source why you're supposed to fast on Tainus Esther. Okay? That's the rush over here. So according to Rav Sham Barab named Rabbi Yochanan, we learned it from Zmanehim. Rav Shmuel ben Achmoni Omar Kro Kayomim. It says in the Pasuk, Kayomim asher nochu b'mayudim, like, what is like the days? Yomim Kayomim. The days are like the days. The Rabbos Yudalf Yud Beis to include 11 and 12. Somebody's question. Ve'emo Treisa, same question. Maybe it's the 12th and 13th. For the 13th, I don't need any allusions, I don't need psukim. Somebody's question. Maybe the 2 days you add again. Maybe it's the 16th and 17th. It says Lo Yavar, you cannot go beyond the 15th. So the 2 days that I'm adding, which days? 11 and 12. Rav Shimon, so now more as a question. So we have 2 psukim. We have a pasuk, Bizmanehem, right? We have Bizmanehem, we have Kayomim. So why does each one learn from his pasuk, not from the other pasuk? Rav Shuma Nachmani, my time will be Bizmanehem. So on that he answers, he says all that we said, there's Zman, that we dissect the pasuk into various way of applications. He doesn't accept that. Rav Shambar Abu said name Rav Yochanan that he does. My time like the days. So that's for the future. I mean, you should celebrate Purim in the future like the days of old, as they celebrated then on the 15th, 14th, and 15th. In the future, you should also celebrate it. Says the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Zudib Rabbi Kiva Stimaso. These are the words of Rabbi Kiva Stimaso. So Rashi says two pshatim, but the main pshat which Rashi favors is this brisa which we quote now, even though it's written anonymously, it's Rabbi Kiva. That's Rabbi Kiva's position. That's Rabbi Kiva Stimaso. It's not Mishnah. This is not a Mishnah. This is a brisa. This is a brisa. This is a brisa. Okay? Zudev Reb Kiva Stimaso. The Dorish. The Dorish Zman, Zmanum, Zmaneim. You hear this? That's Reb Kiva's position. Avol Chachomim, Omrim, and Kornos Elo Bizmano. You hear this? The Chacham argue. The Chacham say you can only read it, even a kfar, even a village, only on the 14th, but not on the 11th, 12th. He argues. The Chacham argue. Meisvei, we learn in the Bryce, Omer Reb Yehuda, Imosai, Bisman Shashanim Kitikun of Yisrael Bishruyin Alad Mosan. When could the village read it? On 11th, 12th, and 13th. That's when we had Kiddush HaChodesh with Eidim coming to the Sanhedrin, right? When we lived in Eretz Yisrael and things were in place. But today that we don't have Kiddush HaChodesh any longer, based on the Sanhedrin, whole mistaklis, how do people calculate when Pesach is? They know Pesach is what? Erev Pesach is 30 days after Purim. So therefore, if we're going to start reading the Megillah before the 14th, people will get confused. What's going to happen? They're going to start Pesach early, but they're going to end it too early. So they're going to end up eating what? They're going to end up eating Chometz on Pesach. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says, so Rabbi Yehuda libedeman. So Rabbi Yehuda says, at the time when we were in on our land, we had the Sanhedrin functioning. Then you have Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel. But today it's only Yud Dalet. So who do we attribute Rabbi Yehuda to? Who? Alibi Deman. Ilem Alibi Rabbi Kiva. Is it going like Rabbi Kiva? Afilu B'zman Hazeh. Rabbi Kiva said it even after the Churban. Even though after the Churban Habayis, he said his position. That means even though today we no longer have Kiddush HaChodesh, he still says you read it. Yud Aleph, Yud Gimel. Right? Afilu B'zman Hazeh. Like Takon. It is the Takon. What they come in the days. Elav, so who do we attribute to? Alibi the Rabbanon. Ubizman sheshon tiyunam so shunad mosom yekarinon. But nevertheless, today, when things, or when do you read it? On all the early days, that's only if things are in place. But today, when things are not in place, it's only Yudalit. Tiyufta Rabbi Yochanan Tiyufta. Rabbi Yochanan said that even Zman Hazeh, we like the Chachomim, and he says even today we read it when? On the 11th, 12th, and 13th. So Rabbi Yochanan is refuted. Omer Ikadam, another version. Omer Rabba Bar Bechon, Omer Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan said, Rabbi Yochanan, Divrei Rabbi Kiva Stimusoik. According to Rabbi Kiva, even Bisman Hazeh, it's Yud Aleph, Yud Beis, Yud Gimel. Avul Chachomim Omru Bisman. Since people look for the calendar to figure out when Pesach is, they look back to calculate from Purim and Kordos Ela Bisman, or you only read it on what? Only on the 14th, even for the villages. Tanya Yoch, we have a brayse that's Omer Rav Yehuda, Mosai Bisman Shoshan B'Tikunon, V'Yisrael Shurin Alad Moson. Al Bisman Hazeh, Hom Nistaklim Bo, and Kordos Ela Bismano. Okay, that's that. Ravashi Kasher Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda. Ravashi has a stira, contradiction, in two statements of Rav Yehuda. What's the stira? Umukim lo lebraisen, to reconcile the what? The stira, when it says Rav Yehuda, doesn't mean Rav Yehuda, means Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda. You hear this? You have a question. It says it's not him, it's another position, it's another opinion. Umukim lo lebraisen, Rav Yosef Rav Yehuda. What's the stira? What's the stira? How could you say that Rabbi Yehuda says that today we no longer have Kiddush HaChodesh? And people, you look back to Purim to understand what Pesach is, therefore we only read it on the 14th, because otherwise people will be confused. You following? We know Pesach is 30 days after Purim, Erev Pesach. So if we start reading it on the 11th, people become confused, they can start Pesach too early, and they're going to end up ending Pesach too early. They're going to end up eating chametz on Pesach. Therefore, today that we no longer have, we don't have shluchim going out to inform people when Pesach starts. Therefore, it has to be only on the 14th, so people should calculate correctly. That's one statement of Rabbi Yehuda. Uramidi, Omer Rabbi Yehuda Moshe b'mokushim nechnos. He says something totally different. When do we allow that? When do we have the dispensation that we can start 11, 12, and 13? If in the towns the court convenes on Monday and Thursday, then we have the dispensation for what? They could read as early as the 11th. But the communities where the court does not convene on Monday and Thursday, or the court is open every day of the week, you only read it only on the 14th. But what does it say? But Rabbi Yehuda is saying, even today after the Churban Abayis, when we no longer have shluchim going out, we read it what? Early as the 11th, 12 and 13. So how do we reconcile the two brises? So how does he reconcile? One brise is Rabbi Yehuda, and the other is, when it says Rabbi Yehuda doesn't mean Rabbi Yehuda, it means Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda. That's how we reconcile the brises. And where's the question? Rabbi Yehuda, Mukim lo the brise Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Yehuda. You have a stira. See, now we're going to answer it. We'll say when it says Rabbi Yehuda doesn't mean that, it means somebody else. It's like picking a rabbit out of a hat over here. What do you mean? You have a question. It doesn't mean that, but it says Rabbi Yehuda. Both statements it says Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. And that Gemara answers no. Ravashi Shemialei Dika Detoni Lak Rabbi Yehuda. There were two versions. The brisa that says that in the communities they enter, you read it as early as the 11th. Some say the opinion is Rabbi Yehuda. Other people say no, it's Rabbi Yosef Yehuda. And they weren't able to confirm who was the correct position. So when he had the stira, he had the contradiction. Oh, so that confirms that the brisa that states that statement, it's not Rabbi Yehuda, but rather it's not. He came up with this to answer the contradiction. There was an argument. Who made that statement? Was it Rabbi Yehuda or was it Rabbi Yosef Yehuda? Rav Ashi says, now I understand that there would be a contradiction. It's not Rabbi Yehuda, but rather it's Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. Okay? Now Rav Ashi had difficulty, because if that's the case, if it's Rabbi Yehuda, we have a contradiction, and there's no way to reconcile. The one who said Rabbi Yehuda is not specific. That the version of Yosef Yehuda, that's the specific version, and therefore, if we learn that the opinion is Rabbi Yosef Yehuda, there is no contradiction between the two brises. Kracham, the Mishnah says, when does the wall from Yeshua ben Nun's time to read it on the 15th? We have a problem. The Gemara says, Shushan. The wall in Shushan, when did they put up that wall? Not Yeshua ben Nun. That was later, time of Achashverosh. Okay, and yet you read it. And when did they in Shushan? When did they actually read it? They read that. That's when they read the Megillah. When were they able to celebrate? They were able. They destroyed their enemies not only on the 13th. Shushan destroyed their enemies even on the 14th. Correct. So when did they have the respite to celebrate? On the 15th. So if Shushan itself is not from Meos Yeshua ben Nun, so why should we have to have Meos Yeshua ben Nun? Right? The Gemara is going to discuss this. And it's a machlokes tanoim. It says, how do we know? How do we know the walled city has to stand? The wall has to stand from Yeshua ben Nun's time. How do we know this? Omar Rova, Omar Kro, it says in the Pasuk, Al Kein Hayudim HaProzim Hayoshim Bazi Prozos. It says in the Megillah, it says the Jews who live in the open cities, they will celebrate it on the 14th. That's what it says in Megillah Esther. So may the Prozim Bar Ba'osar, since the open city is celebrated on the 14th, Bukafin B'chamishos, and it says the 15th. But it doesn't say explicitly in the Megillah, the walled cities. But since it says the Prozim, the open cities celebrate on the 14th, and there is a 15th day, it makes sense to say that the 15th is to be celebrated by the walled cities. Smar says, maybe not. Ema, Prozim, Barba Osa, Bukafin, Klal. You have this, a consideration. Maybe the open cities celebrate it on the 14th, and maybe the walled cities don't celebrate, period. Yeah, they shouldn't celebrate it. Somewhere asks a question. V'lav Yisrael, what do you mean they don't celebrate it? They're also Jews. I mean, they don't commemorate the miracle, to offer the thanks of celebration. What's even the consideration that they shouldn't read it all, the walled city? That's V'od. It says in the Megillah, says that from where was the miracle? Where did the miracle take place? Mehodavat Kush. It says that Achshverosh ruled the world supreme. Therefore, the miracle happened when we destroyed enemies. It was the whole world in its entirety. Somewhere says maybe Ve'ema Prozim Bar Beisar. Maybe I'll tell you the open cities is only on the 14th. Mukafin, but the walled cities Bar Beisar v'Chamesar. They should read on both days. The walled open cities only on the 14th, but the walled cities are on both. Kidechsiv. Somewhere answers no. It says Lios Osim Es Yom Arba Osa L'Chodesh Ador. How does it express both days? You should celebrate the 14th of the month of Adar, and it says the S. S is an interruption. Yom Chamisha Oser. Bo b'chol shonu v'shonu. Iaviksiv es Yom Arba Oser v'chamisha Oser. If it would have said the 14th and the 15th, v. Kitkamich, so you could say like you're saying, the open city is on the 14th, and the walled city is the 14th and the 15th. Bahashlu d'chsiv es Yom Arba Oser. It says the word S, which is superfluous because it would have been enough to say above without the S. Ves Yom Chamisha Oser, also S uposi. So the S goes to separate between the 14th and the 15th. Meaning you read it, one reads it on the 14th, the walled city reads it on the 15th. So more is a question. So what Hani Bar Oser, Hani B'Chamisha Oser. More says no, maybe Hani Ema Prozim Bar Beisar. I'll tell you the 14th reads it on the 14th, the open city. Mukafin, but Mukafin they have a choice. Ibo Bar Beisa, Ibo B'Chamesar. They have a choice. Now, let me ask a question. Why did the walled city have a choice and the open city doesn't have a choice? Right? What would the Reb say? Very simple. Factually, the walled city is also part of Klal Yisrael. They're also, so if that's the case, we're part of Klal. We have a right to celebrate on the 14th. But factually, when did we personally experience the miracle? When we had a respite on the 15th. So therefore, the open city, which their respite was on the 14th, definitely they celebrated on the 14th. But the walled city, they should have a choice. Either they celebrate on the 14th if they want because they're part of Klal Yisrael, but if they want to have their personal celebration, they can even celebrate it on the 15th. Because factually, when did the walled city, Shushan, have its respite? And they celebrate, that was on the 15th, right? Omakra bizmanehem. So Mark quotes another pasuk, in their times. Zmanu shel zeh luk zmanu shel zeh. That one's time is not this time as the other. I mean, each one has its own unique time. The open city has its time, and the walled city has its time. Somebody's a question. Vema betleisar. Do you know what should be? The walled cities in the time of Shushan, all other walled cities in Eretz Yisrael, when they only were permitted to kill their enemies one day, right? So if that's the case, it should be they should celebrate it on the 13th. if we're saying that the walled city doesn't celebrate the same day as the open city, they should have to celebrate on the 13th. On that, the Gemara says Shushan. Even though Shushan wasn't a walled city from Yeshua ben Nun, but since it's a walled city, therefore, the Chazal, they designated, since it's similar to Shushan, they celebrated on the 15th, although they had their respite on the 14th. No, but the reason why we said the 13th, because it says it should not be. It should not be the same day as the open city. So Gemara says, now the Gemara has a basic question. The pasuk which we've been quoting now about the 14th, the 15th, is all this. This is in regard to the celebration. What about the reading of the Megillah? Where do we find the reading of the Megillah? So our answer is Zechira. It says Ashchan Asiyo Zechira Mnolad. What about Zechira? That's the reading. Omakra Vayom Elu Niskorim V'Nasim. It says these days should be remembered and celebrated. So what's the Torah doing? The Torah is associating, is juxtaposing the remembrance to the celebration. We're associating remembrance, so just as the Asiya, the open city, when do they celebrate? It's on the 14th. Therefore, when does the, right? And the walled city on the 15th, identical in regard to the Kriya, the reading, the open city reads on the 14th, and the walled city reads it on the 15th. Okay? Everybody with me? Judy, you with me? Okay. So now we have a new question. Masis lo ki aitana. Our mission that says the walled city has to be from Yeshua ben Nun is not going like this brisa. The Tanya, Rabbi Shimon Korch Omer Krochem Ukofin Chomim Mosi Achashveirish Korbi Bechamish Oser. Here, Rabbi Shimon Korch says the walled city, the wall does not have to stand from Yeshua's time, Achashveirish's time. My time is Rabbi Shimon Korch. Why does Rabbi Shimon Korch say the walled city is only from Achashveirish's time? So my answer is very simple. Kishushan. I mean, what are we commemorating? What Shushan had. Shushan, when did the wall stand? It was from Achashverosh's time. Ma Shushan mukeves chom meosi Achashverosh v'korim b'chamisha osa, and they read it on the 15th. Of course, mukeves chom meosi Achashverosh korim b'chamisha osa. V'tani, that's so good. It's a phenomenal argument, right? Phenomenal argument. The reason why you read the 15th was it's like Shushan. So what does our Tana say that you read it on the only a walled city from Yeshua ben Nun's time? And then he answers, Yolav Prozi. He has a Gzer Shava, rabbinical Gzer Shava. It says Prozi in the Torah. It says Prozi, open city, and it says open city in regard to Purim. The open cities are referred to as the Jews in the open cities. And it says in Dvarim, Levad Ori Me Ori HaProzi. Harbe Mode. It says when they conquered the cities by Sich and Og, they conquered walled cities. Those walled cities, when did they stand? That's from Yeshua's time, those cities. Malan Mukeves Chomos Yeshua Nun. Just as when the Torah speaks of walled cities, it's walled cities from Yeshua ben Nun's time. Afkan Mukeves Chomim Yeshua ben Nun. So it says like this. Bishlom Yeshua ben Korcho. According to Yeshua ben Korcho, Lo Amakatani Didan. Why does he reject our Tana's position that it does not be from Yeshua ben Nun? The Leslie Prozi, because he doesn't have the Gzer Shava, right? He reject what we associate words. El Tanda, my time, ben Korcho. Why doesn't concur with Rishon? My time? This lay Prozi, what kind of question is that? Because we just finished saying he has the Gzer Shava. That's why you asked Rishon ben Korcho. Smor says, no, that's not what he meant. Hochi Kamar. El Shushan David Kaman. According to our Tana, that it has to be a walled city from Yeshua ben Nun's time. So why does Shushan, which is not, why do they read it on the 15th? That's the question. If actually from the Gzer Shava it's indicated a walled city reads it on the 15th and the wall has to be staying for Yeshua ben Nun's time, so Shushan factually did not stand from that, why does Shushan read it on the 15th and nobody argues that they do read it on the 15th? On that, Gemara says, Omerova v'amri kedi. Rabbi said, others say it was kedi. Rashi says, Shem chochem. Shani Shushan hovenas bones. Although it wasn't a walled city from Yeshua ben Nun's time, Shushan is the exception because that's actually where the miracle took place. So since it took place there, although the wall is not a walled city from Yeshua's time, it's on Vachshei's time, that's sufficient for them to read it on the 15th. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay, good. Mar says like this. Bishlam al-Tanidi Dan, he says, according to our Tana, it has to be from Yeshua ben Nun's time, the walled city. What does it say in the Megillah? Dechsiv Medina Medina. In every Medina you read the Megillah. Ve'ir. Every city reads the Megillah. Medina means the province, province to province, city to city. Medina. What's Medina? L'chalik bein Mukov and Choma, Meos Yeshua ben Nun, bein Mukov is Choma, Mos Achashverosh. That even though they're both walled cities, but we differentiate. How far back do I date the walled city? Is it dated from Yeshua's time? Achashverosh. Ir ve'ir, Namid Chali bein Shushan, B'shari Yoros. That even though Shushan was from Achashverosh's time, we differentiate between Shushan and all other walled cities. All other walled cities from Achashverosh's time reads it on the 14th. Shushan, because that's where the miracle took place, you read it on the 15th. Elder B'shu ben Korcha, but according to B'shu ben Korcha, then it says no, that all walled cities B'shu ben Korcha from Achashverosh's time you read it. Bishlam Medina L'chal ben Shushan L'shari Yoros. Right? We Shushan to all other cities. El Ir V'ir L'mayosa. What is Ir V'ir coming to teach me? Omelach B'shu ben Korcha. Ulehisarishu Charasa. Ultani Daminecho. And according to our Tana, is it good? Cave this lay prosi. Since he's already learning from Zereshava prosi, that what? That it has to be a walled city from Yeshua ben Nun's time. So Medina Lomdu. What I need Medina tell me to differentiate between walled city from Yeshua's time to walled city from Achashverosh's time. El Krolach Rashu Udasa. It's coming to teach me something else. Medina is coming to teach me something totally different. What is this? And this is very important. This is all the Hoshayla today in Yerushalayim. You don't live within the walled city. You live outside the walled city. No, they read it on the 15th, but they're not in, so it's based on this. Reb Shua ben Levi, who does the Reb Shua ben Levi, Krach, a large city. Chol HaSomach L'Krach is a walled city, and another location which is adjacent to it. V'chol HaNiri'imo, or a city which you could visually see it. Niden Kikrach, we treat it like a walled city. Hear this? It's not in the city, it's outside the city. If it's samuch, it's within its proximity, or visually you could see it, you treat it, although it's not within, it doesn't have a wall around it, they read it on the 15th. Okay? Omer Reb Yirmiyah v'Teimer Reb Chi bar Abba. And what is an example of that? What's samuch? What is samuch? Right? Ki mechamsel Tveria. Mil. There's a community called Mechamsen and Tveria. It's a mil. They both, yeah. Somewhere says, "Lame a mil." What do you have to give me an example? The distance from Mechamsen to Tveria? Just say a mil. A mil is a mile, 2,000 amos. Hokamashlan, the shura de mil, kama have. What is the extent of a mil? Right, a halachic mile. Kim Mechamsen Tveria. If you measure the distance, Mechamsen Tveria, that's a mile. If you want to know what it is. Otherwise, you're talking abstract. What is it? We have no idea what it is. Now we're finished with that. Matzepach, right? There's certain letters in the Hebrew alphabet. It could be, if they're written in the middle of a word, they're formed one way. If it's closing, it's what? It's called sophis, right? Mem sophis, chav sophis, tzadiv sophis, pei sophis. So those letters are matzepach. So Reb Chi bar Abba, Reb Yirmiyah's name, others say it's Reb Chi bar Abba, said matzepach sofim omrum. That how do we know that these letters are both in the open and the closed? Sofim, the gazers, meaning the Nevi'im, they communicated this to us. Somewhere says, V'tizbar, how's that possible? Meaning they're the ones who actually established these other letters. It says, not possible. Ksiv Eila mitzvos, shein gnovi rashoy l'chadish dover me'ato. If a Novi introduces a new halacha, he's a Novi Sheker. He's a false prophet. So what do you mean? Because this is how we say the Torah. What is a kosher Sefer Torah? It's not a kosher Sefer Torah. They can't create their own Hebrew alphabet. The old Homer of Chizdo, we already find the letters in the Aser Sadibros. It says Sam Mem V'Samach Shebeluchos Neso Yomdim. You hear this? When it says you were able to see both through the luchos, right? The Aser Sadibros. It says they stood. It was a miracle. Now a samach. A samach, it's not attached to anything, right? So how did it stand? It was like suspended in midair. The samach and the mem. We're talking the samach and the mem sophis. So we say it was even before the Nevi'im. What do you mean? It's the Nevi'im. This was at Sinai. The Meluchas were given this way. You got it, Howard? Yes. Okay. Samara answers, Me'in Me'ahava. They were, meaning that both types of letters existed already from Sinai. But it was unclear which one goes in the middle and which one goes at the end. Which is the end letter, which is the middle letter. So the Nevi'im came and they established the halacha, psuchim be'emtza, the open letters in the middle of the word, teva smuchin, emtza teva, in the middle of the word, stubim b'sof teva. And the closed letter is the end of the word. So they established that halacha. So again, sof, ela mitzvah she novi osid l'chadish dova miato. A novi is not permitted. This has halachic ramifications. This is a Torah law. A Navi cannot, after Moshe Rabbeinu passed away, the Torah came to a conclusion. It was forgotten. Of course, everything was given at Sinai. But people forgot which goes in the middle, which goes at the end of the letter. They went and they refamiliarized people. They retaught the halacha that the open letter goes in the middle of the word and the closed letter goes at the end of the word. Okay? Omer Rabbi Yirmiyah v'Tem Reb Chia bar Abba. Targum shel Torah. We have Targum. Right? Targum Unklis. Unklis Hager Omro. Unklis Hager. Who was he? He was the nephew of Nero. Right? The Roman emperor. Unklis Hager. He's referred to Unklis Hager. Mipi Reb Lezer Reb Yeshua. He passed the tradition down from Reb Lezer Reb Yeshua. Targum Shel Nevi'im. What about the Targum of the Navi? Yonas ben Uziel Omro. Yonas ben Uziel. Targum Yonas ben Uziel. Who did he receive the tradition from? Mipi Chagai Zechariah Malachi. You hear this? He received it from the Nevi'im. So Tangur Unklis was which is on Chumash, is from who? That he received it from Rebbe Lezer Reb Yeshua. Rabbi Yonas ben Uziel on Navi, it was from the Nevi'im Achronim. And when he gave it over, if it is Daz Eretz Yisrael Arba Me'as Paso, Al Arba Me'as Paso. When he interpreted with the Targum, Eretz Yisrael actually quaked 400 parsa, that's 1,200 miles, but it was like quaked. What happened? Yotza Basko v'omra, miuzeh shegilu sisorai lebonai. Who's revealing my secrets to my children? There's certain things that have to be considered concealed. Then it's not for public consumption. Omed Yonasan ben Uziel, a ragel of Yonasan ben Uziel, stood on his feet. V'omar, and he said, he made a declaration. Ani hu shogilisi, I'm the one who revealed it. Ani hu shogilisi sisorecho, I revealed what's hidden. Why? Livnei Adam, golav yudu lefonecho, it's revealed and known to you before you. Sholechvodi osisi, lo lechvod beis abba. I did not do it for my glory or my glory of my family. El lechvodcho osisi, I did it for your glory. Shlo yirba machlokes bisor, because the certain psukim without the Targum Unklis Ben Uziel, they're not reconciled. They make no sense. So for the sake of that, people should understand what the Navi is saying. Therefore, he introduced this Targum. He wanted to reveal the Targum of Ksuvim, of the scripture, Daniel. In Daniel, it's hidden over there when exactly Mashiach is coming. So if he would have interpreted that, it would have been Gilui Haketz. He would have revealed when the end of time is. Yotze Baskov Amra, lo dayoch, you did enough. Don't do anything more. My timer, why did Hashem want him to interpret Ksuvim? Shum Dizbe Ketz Mashiach. Because in that interpretation, he revealed when Mashiach is exactly coming. And that definitely has to be concealed. Nobody's permitted to know that. Therefore, Hashem did not allow Yonas ben Uziel to reveal when that Ketz is. The Targum shall, now the Gemara is a question. The Targum shall Torah Uklis Hagerabro. The Targum, did he introduce it? V'Omar Rav Yika bar Ovin, Omar Rav Chananel, Omar Rav Maidich Siv. It says in the Torah. V'Yikrub. It says in Yecheskel. I think it's supposed to be Yecheskel Beis. No, in the Chemia. It says V'Yikru Lefonov. V'Yikru b'Sefer Torah Elokim. It says they read in the Sefer Torah Elokim b'Forosh. What's explicit? V'Som Seichel, which you're able to understand. V'Yavinu b'Mikra. V'Yikru. Stop. And they'll understand the text. The Yikru Sefer Torah Elokim Zu Mikra. They read Torah Elokim. That's the text of the Chumash. Meforosh. What's Meforosh? That's elucidated. It's Targum. That's Targum. V'som Seichel. Give you an Elu Hapsuk. That's exactly where to put the punctuation. We'll see. Or means the V'Yavinu B'Mikra. Elu Piskei Tam. That's the Tami HaMikra. Those are the cantillations. Others say it's Elam Masoris. What's the Moli and the Choser? So if that's the case, we see based on the pasuk that this already was given at Sinai. What do you mean? What are you telling me that That Unklis Hager? He's the one who elucidated it through the Targum Oklis. This already was given at Sinai. On that, the Shochem Yostum. Of course, it was given at Sinai, the Aramaic interpretation. However, it was forgotten, and Rebbe Lezer B'Shua reintroduced it, and Oklis carried it on. Maishno Doraisa. So, where's the question? Maishno Doraisa is Dazo. Why for the Torah the world did not quake when you interpreted the Chamish Chumshei Torah? Advi is Dazo. Why when Yonas Muziel interpreted the Navi, the prophets, the world, Eretz quaked? Doraisa Mefarshim Milso, right? Well, what's the Torah? Tangram the Torah is what just explained the Psukim. The Navi Ikamila the Mefarshim the Mistamin. The things in Navi which are obvious, and the things which have to be concealed. So when Yonas Muziel interpreted the Navi, he revealed what should have been concealed. The Chsiv, for instance, gives an example. Bayomu Yigdal HaMispei B'Yushalayim. On that day, there will be a great eulogy in Yerushalayim. Kemisper Hadrimo Bebikas Megidon. We'll see, which the pasuk doesn't make any sense without the Targum. V'omer Rav Yosef himself, who was a Saginor, this Tosef Bavakam says Dvarim Shem Nesavi Torah Shem La'apeh. Something that's written in the text, you're not permitted to quote from memory. So because Rav Yosef was blind, so therefore everything for him would be from memory. So therefore he was the expert in the Aramaic translation. Because whenever he would quote a pasuk, it would never be from the original text. It was always in the Aramaic. And he says, Ilmoli Terguma Daikro, if not for the Targum of this pasuk, Lo Yadana, we wouldn't be able to even understand what the pasuk is saying about. What does it mean? B'yomahu Yizki Mispeidu B'Yushalayim. And that day there's going to be a great eulogy in Yerushalayim. And that eulogy we would compare to whose eulogy? Kemisbei Da'achov ben Imri, Achov ben Omri, the Kotel Yosei, who was killed, Yosei Hadrimo ben Tavrimon, Bermos Gilad, who was killed by Hadrim ben Tavrimon in the heights of Gilad, Ukemispided Yoshua ben Amon, and like the eulogy of Yoshio, this Yoshua bar Amon, the Kotel Yosei Paro Chagiro Bibikas Megiddo, who was killed by Paro. He's the one who wanted to go through his territory. Remember, he was killed. Okay. Then it says in the pasuk, Verisi, Daniel is speaking. Verisi ani Daniel levadi es amare. Daniel says, I saw the mare, I saw the vision. Vanoshim eshoyimi lo ro. But the people with me, which more will say Chag Zachari Malochi, they did not see the vision. Es amare. Avacharod gdol nofla aleim, but great fear came upon them. They went into hiding. They fled into hiding. Maninu anosh. Who these people with him? Who this tremendous dread, fear came upon them. Om Rav Yirmi, B'Teimer Rav Chi Barabba. Rav Yirmi, others say it was Rav Chi Barabba. Said Zeh Chag Zecharim Halachi. They were Nevi'im, the Nevi'im Achronim, the last Nevi'im. So Maria says Inu Adifimine. They were greater than Daniel. Yeah. The Iyug Odef Mina, and he was greater than them. In certain aspects, they were greater than he was, and he was greater than them. Inu Adif Minei, they were greater than him. The Inu Navi, they were prophets. So even though, if you take a look at Rashi, they were prophets means, what's a prophet? A prophet, somebody who Hashem communicates to. Their prophecy was to give over. The two types of prophecies. There's prophecy on a personal level, and there's a prophecy to be a shliach of Hashem. So, because later, it's clear, Daniel was a prophet. But he was never given a role, a mission to give it over to others. So when the Gemara says here, Inu Navi, take a look in Rashi. Inu Navi, excuse me. Yeah. You see Rashi. They prophesied for Yisrael as an agent of Hashem. He was never sent for any Nevuah to Klal Yisrael. So factually, Daniel was a prophet. But it means they were greater than him, that they were chosen to be God's agents to give over the prophecy. Okay? But he was greater than them. He saw something they didn't see. Somewhere asks a question. So if they didn't see, what dread came upon them? What were they frightened of? You see something, you're afraid. On that, Gemara says, even though they didn't see, then the Neshama saw. That a person has a mazel, so Rashi is, what's Mizlayu? Rega. Sar shel kol odom l'maylo. Each person has his angel in heaven representing him. The angel saw, so the angel communicates it to the person. Omer Avinu Shmami no. Haiman de mitva. The mivis. A person suddenly becomes afraid. And you don't know. Avagav diulo chozi. Even though you don't see anything to be afraid of. Mazli chozi. If all of a sudden this fear comes upon a person, it's his mazel. Okay, maitaka. So what do you do? What do you do to relieve yourself of that fear? All of a sudden this sudden fear comes upon you. Likri kriyashma. You say kriyashma because it's danger. The koin b'mokom tinofus. What if he's in an unclean location? He's not able to say the shema. Lincha miduchte arba gemidi. He should leave that location 4 amos and say kriyashma. The lavin. He's even not permitted to do that. He's not able to. Leimochi. It's like an incantation. You say izo de beitiv chishmeni minoi. Go after the goat in the slaughterhouse. It's fatter than I am. Go after it. Leave me alone. It's a certain incantation. Samar says like this: Vasha da amr de medina medina v'irvi l'drosho. Now we're interpreting medina medina, and ear v'ir. It's connoting something. It's alluding to something. Mishpoch mayosa. It says in the Megillah. Mishpoch. Every family has to read the Megillah, of course. So what does that teach me? Mayosa. Om Reb Yossi bar Chanina l'Havi mishpos kun levio. We had early in Tainus, right? You had the Mamodos, you had the Mishmoros. Did they do things? Did they delay things because of Kriyas Megillah? Shemavatlin avodosan ubon lishmon bikur Megillah. Yeah, they have to interrupt the avoda, which means delay it, to come listen to reading the Megillah. That's mishpocha. Even though you're a Kohen, you're a Levi, doesn't make a difference. You have to be there for Kriyas Megillah. The Omer of Yudom Rav Kohen b'avodos levim b'duchanon Yisro b'mamodam kula mevatlin. Ubon l'shmon bikur Megillah. Tanya mihochi. We learned in the Bryce, the sports, what Rabbi Yudom Rav says. Kahani b'avodos levim b'duchanon Yisro b'mamodam kula mevatlin avodoson ubon l'shmon bikur Megillah. Mekan somchu shel Beis Rebbe. So from here, Beis Rebbe drew from that. Shem vatlin Talmud Torah boin l'shmon bikur Megillah. Rabbi Yehuda Nossi had a shir at a certain appointed time. The Purim, he delayed it. Just as they delayed their avoda and their singing in the Beis Hamikdash for the sake of Kriyas Megillah, he postponed the shir that he normally said at an appointed time. You read Megillah first, and then you give the shir later. Kal v'chomer me avoda. You draw kal v'chomer avoda. Ma avoda shi chamura. Avoda, which is so severe that even it overrides Shabbos. And nevertheless, we say Mikra Megillah takes precedence. Bevatl Talmud Torah lo koshke. So more is a question. Vavoda chamura mi Talmud Torah. Where do we find avoda is more chamer than Talmud Torah? Loksiv. Vahi b'Yeshua ben Biricho, when Yeshua was in Jericho. Vayiseino vayar v'ni ish omid leg. All of a sudden he sees a person. We'll see in a moment. Vayishtachlu b'fonov, and it says charbo. He had a drawn sword, and it says Yeshua bowed to prostrate himself to him. Excuse me. How did he bow? I Vomer Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi also lo'odem shitin shol mechaver balaylo chayishin shemesh edu. It's out in the field. Maybe a demon. So if it's a demon, how do you bow to him? Shani hosam nomalei kiani sarts for Hashem, because this so-called person, he said, I am an angel. And he said the name of Hashem. A demon is not permitted to say the name of Hashem. So therefore, he knew immediately it was a malach. So says vidil mishakri. Maybe it was a demon, and it was lying. On that he says, Gemiri, we have in Kabbalah, in tradition, lo mafki shem sheman vatola. A demon would never say the name of Hashem in vain. So if the being said, I'm sar tzva Hashem, evidently he was the real Amalo. So what did he say to Yeshua? Emesh bitalta tom shel arbaim. Yesterday, because you were in war, you were in battle, you didn't bring the Talmud, which you should have brought in the afternoon. V'achshav bitalta Talmud Torah. Now that you're still in battle, so Rashi says, because when is man milchama? We're not talking pikuach nefesh. There was a conquest. Everything was miracle. You were supposed to be in battle only during the daytime. At nighttime, you know what you're supposed to do. At nighttime, you're supposed to sit and study Torah. So therefore, yesterday you didn't bring the Talmud. Today you're not studying Torah. Omalo ezemen boso. So what is the claim? You have two claims against. Which is your primary claim against me? Omalo atabosi. What you should be doing now. That's what you should be doing now. Studying Torah. Miyad vayolan Yeshua balay lahu b'toch emek. It says he dwelt in the valley. What is he dwelt in the valley? Rabbi Yochanan, he was shalom k'shel halacha. He delved in the depths of halacha. So Rashi says when it says vayolam be'emek, it doesn't mean that night. It means later by Mechemes Ai. The next battle after Jericho was Ai. Then, right, that's where it is. V'amar Shmuel bar Unyo Godel Talmud Torah Yosemi Hakrovis Tamidin. The study of Torah has greater value than even bringing the what's his name? The communal offering, Shenema Atabosi. The main claim is now Atabosi. So what do we see over here? So we see over here that bringing the carbon is more important than Torah. Look how the Rabbim Hodi Yochid. I mean, we talk about Torah the Rabbim, Torah the Yochid, to be continued.